Imagine stepping into your garden and harvesting fresh vegetables without replanting every single year. That's the reality I'm going to show you today. A garden that gives back year after year with just one initial planting effort. In the next 15 minutes, I'll reveal 20 amazing vegetables that grow like trees, producing food for 5, 10, even 20 years from a single planting. Most people think vegetables are annual workhorses that need constant replanting. They're wrong. I've reduced my gardening workload by 80% since switching to these perennial powerhouses. And I'm harvesting more food than ever with less effort. The reason most people fail with perennials is they either pick the wrong varieties or don't establish them properly from day one. Today, I'm giving you my exact system of 20 tree-like vegetables that will transform your garden into a low-maintenance food forest that feeds you for decades. Hit like, subscribe for more smart gardening hacks, and comment with which perennial vegetable you're most excited to try. Let's dive in. Number 1. Asparagus. The king of perennial vegetables. This is perfect for seniors because once established, it requires minimal maintenance and produces for 15 to 20 years with just annual weeding and mulching. Asparagus works by developing a deep crown system underground that sends up edible spears each spring, then matures into fern-like foliage that feeds the roots for next year's harvest. To plant asparagus, start with 1-year-old crowns in early spring. Dig trenches 8 inches deep and 12 inches wide. Spacing crowns 12-18 inches apart with rows 4 to 5 feet apart. Cover with 2 inches of soil, gradually filling the trench as spears grow. Plant in full sun, 6 to 8 hours daily, in well-draining soil with pH 6.5-7.0. Water weekly during the first year, then reduce to every 10 to 14 days unless rainfall is abundant. Don't harvest any spears the first year. Limit harvest to 2 weeks in year 2. Then enjoy 6 to 8 week harvests from year 3 onward. Expect 1-2 to 1 pound per plant annually after establishment. The biggest mistake people make is harvesting too soon or over-harvesting, which weakens the crown. Pro tip: after the first frost, cut the ferns to 2 inches and mulch with 4-6 inches of straw or leaves to protect the crowns during winter. This simple step can extend your asparagus bed's productive life by 5 to 10 years. Number 2. Artichoke. The stunning perennial that produces edible flower buds. Artichokes are ideal for senior gardeners because they grow into large, dramatic plants, 3 to 4 feet tall and wide, that need minimal care once established and produce for 5 to 7 years. Artichokes work by developing a deep root system that produces new shoots from the base each spring, which then develop into those delicious flower buds we love to eat. Plant artichoke starts in early spring after danger of frost has passed, spacing them 4 to 6 feet apart in rows 6 to 8 feet apart. These plants need room. They require full sun, 6 to 8 hours daily, and rich, well-draining soil with pH 6.5-7.5. Water deeply once weekly, providing about 1 inch of water each time. In zones 7 to 10, artichokes are true perennials. In colder zones, 3 to 6, they're grown as annuals or with winter protection. Expect 8 to 10 artichokes per plant in the second year, increasing to 20-30 in subsequent years. The most common mistake is not providing enough winter protection in colder zones. Simply cut back the plant to 6 inches and cover with 8 to 12 inches of straw or leaves. Pro tip: in late summer, remove the smallest buds to direct energy to the larger ones, resulting in bigger harvests of premium-sized artichokes. Number 3. Rhubarb. The pie plant that keeps on giving. Rhubarb is perfect for seniors because it's essentially a plant-it-and-forget-it crop that thrives with minimal attention and produces for 10-15 years. Rhubarb works by developing a massive crown underground that sends up edible stalks each spring, with the plant going dormant in winter and re-emerging when soil temperatures reach about 40 degrees. Plant rhubarb crowns in early spring as soon as soil is workable, digging holes 2 feet deep and 2 feet wide. Spacing plants 3-4 feet apart. Fill the hole with a mix of compost and soil, positioning the crown so the top sits 1 to 2 inches below soil level. Rhubarb needs full sun, 6 to 8 hours daily, but tolerates partial shade. Water weekly during the first year, then every 10 to 14 days unless rainfall is plentiful. Don't harvest any stalks the first year, limit to 1 to 2 weeks in year 2, then enjoy 8 to 10 week harvests from year 3 onward. Expect 2-3 pounds per plant annually after establishment. The biggest mistake people make is harvesting too late in the season. Stop by early July to allow the plant to build energy for next year. Pro tip: every 4 to 5 years. Divide your rhubarb plants in early spring by cutting through the crown with a sharp spade, leaving at least 3-4 buds per division. This reinvigorates the plant and gives you new plants to expand your patch or share with friends. Number 4. Jerusalem artichoke, the forgotten sunflower relative that feeds you for years. Jerusalem artichokes, also called sunchokes, are perfect for seniors because they're incredibly drought-tolerant, virtually pest-free, and produce tubers that store in the ground all winter. Jerusalem artichokes work by developing extensive underground tuber systems that multiply each year, with the plants growing 6 to 10 feet tall with sunflower-like blooms in late summer. Plant tuber pieces in early spring, 3 to 4 inches deep and 12-18 inches apart, in rows 3 to 4 feet apart. They tolerate almost any soil but produce best in loose, well-draining soil with pH 6.5-7.5. They need full sun, 6 to 8 hours daily, and are extremely drought-tolerant once established. Water only during extended dry periods. Harvest begins after the first frost when the plants die back, continuing through winter as needed. Expect 5 to 10 pounds per plant annually. The most common mistake is planting them directly in your garden beds. These are vigorous spreaders that can become invasive. Instead, dedicate a corner of your yard to them or plant in large containers, at least 20 gallons. Pro tip: the tubers become sweeter after several frosts, so wait until late fall or early winter to harvest for the best flavor. Simply leave them in the ground and dig as needed throughout winter. They're nature's perfect root cellar. Number 5. Tree collards, the leafy green that grows like a small tree. Tree collards are ideal for seniors because they grow upright to 6 to 8 feet tall, eliminating the need to bend over for harvesting, and they produce nutritious greens for 5 to 10 years from a single planting. Tree collards work by developing a woody trunk that continually produces tender leaves from the top, while the lower leaves can be harvested as needed. Plant tree collards starts in spring or fall, spacing them 3-4 feet apart in full sun, 6 to 8 hours daily. They prefer well-draining soil with pH 6.0-7.5 and benefit from a 2-inch layer of mulch. Water weekly during dry spells, providing about 1 inch of water each time. Begin harvesting leaves when plants reach 2 feet tall, taking the lower leaves first and always leaving at least 6 to 8 leaves at the top to continue growth. Expect continuous harvests of 2 to 3 pounds per plant monthly during the growing season. The biggest mistake people make is not providing enough support for these tall plants. Stake them when they reach 3 feet tall to prevent wind damage. Pro tip: every 2 to 3 years, you can cut the top 2 feet off your tree collard and root it like a cutting to create new plants. Simply stick the cutting in moist soil and keep it watered until roots form in 4-6 weeks. Number 6. Sea kale, the coastal delicacy that thrives inland. Sea kale is perfect for seniors because it's extremely drought-tolerant once established, virtually pest-free, and produces 3 different edible parts from one plant for 5 to 10 years. Sea kale works by developing a deep taproot that stores energy, sending up edible shoots in spring, followed by leaves and later flower buds that can all be eaten. Plant sea kale seeds or crowns in early spring, spacing them 2 to 3 feet apart in full sun to partial shade. They prefer well-draining, alkaline soil with pH 7.0-8.5 and tolerate salt spray if you live near the coast. Water weekly during the first year, then every 2-3 weeks unless rainfall is abundant. Harvest the young shoots, like asparagus, in spring, leaves throughout summer, and flower buds in late spring. Expect 1-2 pounds of edible material per plant annually. The most common mistake is not giving sea kale enough space. These plants spread 3 to 4 feet wide as they mature. Pro tip: for the most tender shoots, considered a delicacy, blanch them by covering emerging shoots with a bucket or special blanching pot for 2 to 3 weeks before harvest. This simple technique produces mild sweet shoots that command premium prices at farmers markets. Number 7. Sorrel. The lemony perennial green that returns each spring. Sorrel is ideal for seniors because it's one of the earliest greens to emerge in spring, requires minimal care, and provides continuous harvests of vitamin-rich leaves for 3 to 5 years. Sorrel works by developing a deep root system that sends up new leaves from early spring through fall, with the plant dying back to the ground in winter and re-emerging when soil temperatures reach about 45°. Plant sorrel seeds or divisions in early spring, spacing them 12 to 18 inches apart in partial shade to full sun. They prefer moist, rich soil with pH 5.5–6.8 and benefit from a 2-inch layer of mulch. Water weekly during dry spells, providing about 1 inch of water each time. Begin harvesting leaves when plants reach 6 inches tall, taking outer leaves first and always leaving at least 1/3 of the plant to continue growth. Expect continuous harvests of 1–2 cups per plant weekly during the growing season. The biggest mistake people make is letting sorrel go to seed. This makes the leaves tough and bitter. Simply cut off flower stalks as they appear to maintain tender leaf production. Pro tip: sorrel contains oxalic acid, which can be problematic for people with kidney issues or arthritis. Cooking reduces this compound by 30 to 40%, so if you have health concerns, briefly sauté or steam your sorrel rather than eating it raw. Number 8. Good King Henry. The forgotten medieval vegetable that's making a comeback. Good King Henry is perfect for seniors because it's essentially a plant-it-and-forget-it crop that tolerates poor soil, needs minimal watering, and produces both spinach-like leaves and asparagus-like shoots for 5–8 years. Good King Henry works by developing a deep taproot that stores energy, sending up edible shoots in spring, followed by leaves throughout summer. Plant seeds in early spring, barely covering them with soil, and spacing them 12–18 inches apart in partial shade to full sun. They tolerate almost any soil, but prefer well-draining soil with pH 6.5–7.5. Water weekly during the first year, then every 2 to 3 weeks unless rainfall is plentiful. Harvest the young shoots, like asparagus, in spring when they're 4 to 6 inches tall. Then collect leaves throughout summer, always leaving at least 1/3 of the plant to continue growth. Expect 1 to 2 pounds of edible material per plant annually. The most common mistake is planting Good King Henry in rich soil. This actually makes the plant produce fewer edible shoots and more leaves. Pro tip: like sorrel, Good King Henry contains oxalic acid, so if you have kidney concerns, limit your consumption and always cook the leaves rather than eating them raw. Number 9. Lovage. The celery substitute that grows into a 6-foot perennial. Lovage is ideal for seniors because it grows upright, eliminating bending, requires minimal care, and provides celery-flavored leaves, stems, and seeds for 5 to 10 years from a single planting. Lovage works by developing a large root system that sends up new growth each spring, with the plant reaching 4 to 6 feet tall and 2 to 3 feet wide at maturity. Plant lovage seeds or divisions in early spring, spacing them 2 to 3 feet apart in full sun to partial shade. They prefer rich, moist soil with pH 6.0–7.0 and benefit from a 3-inch layer of mulch. Water weekly during dry spells, providing about 1 inch of water each time. Begin harvesting leaves when plants reach 1 foot tall, taking outer leaves first and cutting stems as needed. Expect continuous harvests of 2 to 3 pounds per plant monthly during the growing season. The biggest mistake people make is not giving lovage enough room. These plants become quite large and can shade out neighboring vegetables. Pro tip: lovage leaves can be dried and stored for up to a year, maintaining most of their flavor. Simply wash the leaves, pat them dry, and hang them in small bunches in a dark, well-ventilated area for 2 to 3 weeks until completely dry, then store in airtight containers. Number 10. Walking onions. The self-propagating perennial that plants itself. Walking onions are perfect for seniors because they literally reproduce themselves, eliminating the need to replant, and they provide edible tops and bulbs year after year with zero effort. Walking onions work by producing clusters of small bulbs at the top of their stalks, which become heavy enough to bend the stalk to the ground, where the bulbs take root and grow new plants, hence the walking name. Plant bulb sets in early spring, 1–2 inches deep and 6 to 8 inches apart in full sun. They tolerate almost any soil but prefer well-draining soil with pH 6.0–7.0. Water weekly during the first year, then only during extended dry periods. Harvest the green tops like scallions throughout the growing season, leaving some plants to produce the top sets for next year's crop. Expect 20–30 bulbs per plant annually. The most common mistake is harvesting all the plants. Always leave at least 1 to 3 of your walking onions to produce top sets for next year's harvest. Pro tip: the underground bulbs of walking onions multiply each year, creating dense clusters. Every 3 to 4 years, dig up and divide these clusters in early spring, replanting the largest bulbs and using the smaller ones in cooking like shallots. Number 11. Egyptian walking onions. The ancient perennial that walks through your garden. Egyptian walking onions are ideal for seniors because they're essentially maintenance-free, multiply themselves each year, and provide 3 different edible parts: bulbs, stems, and top sets. Egyptian walking onions work by producing clusters of small bulbs at the top of their stalks, which become heavy enough to bend the stalk to the ground, where the bulbs take root and grow new plants, creating a walking effect through your garden over time. Plant bulb sets in early spring, 1–2 inches deep and 6 to 8 inches apart in full sun. They tolerate almost any soil, but prefer well-draining soil with pH 6.0–7.0. Water weekly during the first year, then only during extended dry periods. Harvest the green tops like scallions throughout the growing season. Dig the underground bulbs in fall, leaving some to regrow, and use the top sets like pearl onions. Expect 20–30 bulbs per plant annually. The biggest mistake people make is trying to control where these onions walk, embrace their movement, and simply harvest excess plants to keep them in bounds. Pro tip: Egyptian walking onions are one of the earliest edibles to emerge in spring, often pushing through snow while other plants are still dormant. Plant them near your kitchen door for the earliest possible harvests. Number 12. Chives. The versatile perennial herb that keeps on giving. Chives are perfect for seniors because they're essentially maintenance-free, come back every spring with no effort, and provide mild onion flavor from early spring through late fall. Chives work by developing small bulb clusters underground that multiply each year, sending up hollow grass-like leaves that can be harvested repeatedly. Plant divisions or seeds in early spring, spacing them 6 to 8 inches apart in full sun to partial shade. They prefer rich, well-draining soil with pH 6.0–7.0 and benefit from a 1-inch layer of mulch. Water weekly during dry spells, providing about 1–2 inch of water each time. Begin harvesting leaves when plants reach 6 inches tall, cutting them 2 inches above soil level. Expect continuous harvests of 1–2 cup per plant weekly during the growing season. The most common mistake is cutting chives too close to the ground. Always leave at least 2 inches of growth to ensure quick regrowth. Pro tip: chive flowers are edible and make beautiful garnishes with a mild onion flavor. If you don't want chives to self-seed, simply remove the flowers as they fade. But if you don't mind volunteers, let them go and you'll have new chive plants popping up around your garden. Number 13. Fiddlehead ferns. The gourmet delicacy that grows in shade. Fiddlehead ferns are ideal for seniors because they thrive in shady areas where other vegetables struggle, require minimal care, and provide a gourmet early spring harvest for years with no replanting. Fiddlehead ferns work by developing underground rhizomes that send up new fronds, fiddleheads, each spring, which then unfurl into beautiful fern fronds that feed the rhizomes for next year's harvest. Plant rhizomes in early spring, 2 inches deep and 18-24 inches apart in partial to full shade. They prefer rich, moist soil with pH 5.5-6.5 and benefit from a 2-inch layer of leaf mulch. Water weekly during dry spells, providing about 1 inch of water each time. Harvest fiddleheads when they're 1 to 2 inches tall and still tightly curled, cutting them at ground level and never taking more than 1/3 of the fiddleheads from any plant. Expect 1/2 to 1 pound per plant annually. The biggest mistake people make is harvesting fiddleheads too late. Once they start unfurling, they become tough and unpalatable. Pro tip: fiddleheads must be cooked before eating. Raw fiddleheads can cause stomach upset. Simply steam them for 10 to 12 minutes or boil them for 15 minutes before sautéing with butter and garlic for a true gourmet treat. Number 14. Malabar spinach. The heat-loving vine that produces all summer. Malabar spinach is perfect for seniors because it grows vertically, eliminating bending, thrives in heat when regular spinach bolts, and produces continuous harvests of nutritious leaves throughout the hottest months of the year. Malabar spinach works by developing a vigorous vine that can reach 10-14 feet tall, with edible leaves and stems that continue producing all summer without bolting or turning bitter. Plant seeds after danger of frost has passed, 1 to 2 inch deep and 6 inches apart near a trellis or fence in full sun. They prefer rich, well-draining soil with pH 6.5-7.5 and benefit from a 2-inch layer of mulch. Water twice weekly during hot weather, providing about 1 inch of water each time. Begin harvesting leaves when vines reach 2 feet tall, taking outer leaves and stems as needed. Expect continuous harvests of 2 to 3 pounds per plant monthly during summer. The most common mistake is not providing adequate support. These vines become heavy with foliage and need a sturdy trellis or fence to climb. Pro tip: Malabar spinach is not actually a spinach, but a vine in the Bacella family. It has a mild flavor with slightly mucilaginous, slightly slimy texture when raw. But this disappears when cooked. Use it exactly like regular spinach in any cooked dish. Number 15. New Zealand spinach. The drought-tolerant alternative that never bolts. New Zealand spinach is ideal for seniors because it's extremely drought-tolerant once established, never bolts in hot weather, and provides continuous harvests of spinach-like leaves throughout summer with minimal care. New Zealand spinach works by developing a low-spreading plant, 2 to 3 feet wide, that produces tender leaves and stems that can be harvested repeatedly throughout the growing season. Plant seeds after danger of frost has passed, 1 2-inch deep and 12-18 inches apart in full sun. They tolerate almost any soil, but prefer well-draining soil with pH 6.5 to 7.5. Water weekly during the first year, then every 2 to 3 weeks unless rainfall is abundant. Begin harvesting leaves when plants reach 6 inches tall, taking outer leaves and stem tips as needed. Expect continuous harvests of 1 or 2 pounds per plant monthly during summer. The biggest mistake people make is not soaking the seeds before planting. New Zealand spinach seeds have a hard coat and germinate much better if soaked overnight in warm water before planting. Pro tip: New Zealand spinach leaves become more succulent and tender when plants are grown in partial shade during the hottest part of summer. In zones 8 to 10, plants often survive winter and regrow from their base in spring, effectively becoming perennials. Number 16. Cardoon. The artichoke relative grown for its edible stems. Cardoon is perfect for seniors because it's essentially a plant-it-and-forget-it crop that produces large, dramatic silver plants with edible stems for 3 to 5 years with minimal care. Cardoon works by developing a deep root system that produces large silver-gray leaves with edible stems that can be blanched for tenderness. Plant seeds or divisions in early spring, spacing them 3 to 4 feet apart in full sun. They prefer rich, well-draining soil with pH 6.5-7.5 and benefit from a 3-inch layer of mulch. Water weekly during dry spells, providing about 1 inch of water each time. Harvest stems in fall before the first frost, cutting them at ground level and leaving the crown to regrow next year. Expect 3 to 5 pounds of edible stems per plant annually. The most common mistake is not blanching the stems. Raw cardoon stems are bitter and tough. Simply wrap the lower 12 inches of each stem with cardboard or newspaper. 2 to 3 weeks before harvest to exclude light, resulting in tender, mild-flavored stems. Pro tip: cardoon plants are incredibly ornamental with their dramatic silver foliage and thistle-like purple flowers. Plant them where you can enjoy their beauty throughout summer before harvesting in fall. Number 17. Groundnut. The native nitrogen fixer that feeds your soil. Groundnut is ideal for seniors because it's a native perennial that improves your soil while producing edible tubers, requires minimal care, and thrives in partial shade where other vegetables struggle. Groundnut works by developing edible tubers along its underground rhizomes while also fixing nitrogen in the soil, making it both a food crop and a soil builder. Plant tuber pieces in early spring, 2 inches deep and 12 inches apart near a trellis or fence in partial shade. They prefer moist, rich soil with pH 6.00 7.00 and benefit from a 2-inch layer of mulch, water, weekly during dry spells, providing about 1 inch of water each time. Harvest tubers in fall after the first frost when the plants die back, digging carefully to avoid damaging the delicate tubers. Expect 2 4-pounds of tubers per plant annually. The biggest mistake people make is harvesting too soon. Groundnut tubers develop best flavor and texture after the first frost. Pro tip: groundnut is a legume that fixes nitrogen in your soil, making it an excellent companion plant for heavy feeders like tomatoes or corn. Simply plant groundnut near these plants and both will benefit. The groundnut gets support to climb, and the other plants get extra nitrogen. Number 18. Chayote. The tropical vine that produces abundantly in warm climates. Chayote is perfect for seniors in zones 8 to 11 because it's essentially a plant-it-and-forget-it vine that produces 5,100 fruits per plant annually with minimal care. Chayote works by developing a vigorous vine that can reach 30 feet long, producing pear-shaped fruits that can be cooked like summer squash. Plant whole fruits in early spring after danger of frost has passed, laying them on their side with the larger end slightly down and covering with 2 inches of soil, spacing them 8 to 10 feet apart near a sturdy trellis or fence in full sun. They prefer rich, well-draining soil with pH 6.0 7.5 and benefit from a 3-inch layer of mulch. Water twice weekly during hot weather, providing about 1 inch of water each time. Harvest fruits when they're 4 to 6 inches long and still tender, using them like zucchini in any recipe. Expect 5,100 fruits per plant annually from year 2 onward. The most common mistake is not providing adequate support. These vines become extremely heavy with fruit and need a very sturdy trellis or arbor to climb. Pro tip: in zones 8 to 10, chayote plants often die back to the ground in winter and regrow from their perennial root system in spring. Simply cut back the dead vines and apply a fresh layer of compost in early spring to encourage vigorous new growth. Number 19. Bunching onions. The perennial scallion that divides itself. Bunching onions are ideal for seniors because they divide themselves each year, eliminating the need to replant and provide continuous harvests of mild scallion-like onions from early spring through fall. Bunching onions work by developing clusters of small bulbs that multiply each year, sending up new green tops that can be harvested repeatedly. Plant sets or divisions in early spring, 1-2 inches deep and 4-6 inches apart in full sun to partial shade. They prefer rich, well-draining soil with pH 6.0 7.0 and benefit from a 1-inch layer of mulch. Water weekly during dry spells, providing about 1-2 inch of water each time. Harvest green tops when they reach 6 to 8 inches tall, cutting them 2 inches above soil level. Expect continuous harvests of 1-2 cup per plant weekly during the growing season. The biggest mistake is not dividing the clumps every 2 to 3 years. Simply dig up the entire clump in early spring. Separate it into smaller bunches of 3-4 bulbs each and replant with 4-6 inches between bunches. Pro tip: bunching onions are one of the most cold-hardy perennial vegetables, often staying green through winter in zone 6 and warmer. Plant them where you can access them year-round for a fresh onion flavor even when the rest of your garden is dormant. Number 20. Tree cabbage. The amazing perennial that grows like a small tree. Tree cabbage is perfect for seniors because it grows upright to 6 to 8 feet tall, eliminating bending, produces nutritious leaves year-round in mild climates, and requires minimal care for 3 to 5 years of production. Tree cabbage works by developing a woody trunk that continually produces tender leaves from the top, with the plant becoming more tree-like with each passing year. Plant starts in spring or fall, spacing them 3-4 feet apart in full sun, 6 to 8 hours daily. They prefer well-draining soil with pH 6.0 to 7.5 and benefit from a 2-inch layer of mulch. Water weekly during dry spells, providing about 1 inch of water each time. Begin harvesting leaves when plants reach 2 feet tall, taking the lower leaves first and always leaving at least 6 to 8 leaves at the top to continue growth. Expect continuous harvests of 2 to 3 pounds per plant monthly during the growing season. The biggest mistake people make is not providing enough support for these tall plants. Stake them when they reach 3 feet tall to prevent wind damage. Pro tip: in zones 8 to 10, tree cabbage often survives winter and continues producing through the cold months. In colder zones, you can dig up the plant, pot it, and bring it indoors to a sunny window for winter harvests of fresh greens. We've just covered 20 amazing vegetables that you plant once and harvest for years, creating a low-maintenance garden that feeds you season after season. To get started, pick just one vegetable from this list that appeals to you most. Perhaps asparagus for its early spring harvest or tree collards for their upright growth that eliminates bending. Which of these perennial vegetables are you most excited to try? Comment below and let me know what zone and country you're gardening in. I love hearing from gardeners around the world. If you found this video helpful, please hit that like button and subscribe for more smart gardening tips. In our next video, I'll show you how to create a self-watering container garden that practically grows itself, perfect for those with limited space or mobility. Happy gardening, and I'll see you in the next one.